Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's here. We made it. We made it to September 3rd. We have a book that is available on Amazon, albeit there have been some hiccups on day one, but that's okay. Um, yeah, guys, Body Confidence out. We're here to celebrate. It's been, gosh, I would say I started this book almost immediately after publishing the last book. So it's been almost 2 years I've been working on this. Did things very differently. It's my third publication. Learned a lot from the first two. Learned a lot from this one. So the next one, whenever the next one comes out, will be done a little bit differently as well. Like every time I learn something and push it through. So push new information or just do things differently. So this one we'll get into like what I did. I'll give you a little background on where the book came from and that kind of stuff. But before I get too far into things, I want to start off this live launch party, stream, whatever, by saying a big, big, big thank you to everyone who helped me kind of filter my ideas. Say thank you to everyone who pushed me, particularly Natalie, Coach Nat. If you guys know Coach Nat, she's my muse. She's the one who kind of creates an environment that allows me to stretch my limits, be creative, and take all of the jumble of things that are in my head, guys. I can't describe how many things are going in my head all the time, but she kind of helps calm all that down and helps me sort and prioritize and filter and put things in a way that makes sense, not just to me, but hopefully to everyone reading the book as well. So I just want to express my appreciation and gratitude for having Coach Nat in my life. And without her, this book would have probably taken twice as long and wouldn't be nearly as readable and digestible for you guys. So you owe a lot to her as well. So with that being said, we got some good stuff going on today. So we have Casey Ruff. If you guys are familiar with Casey Ruff from Boundless Body Radio, he'll be on. Coach Nat will be on. Linda, the Carnitarian, Linda Salant, the Carnitarian, will be on later today. Unfortunately, we were going to have Dr. Philip Ovadia on. He wrote the foreword to the book, but I got a message like an hour and a half ago. He had an emergency. I mean, he is a heart surgeon, so hopefully everything's okay. But he had an emergency and he had to cancel the last minute. So unfortunately, he won't be on today. But we do have a good lineup, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. Now, I'm hoping that my guests do most of the talking over the next 2 hours, because I don't know if I can talk for 2 hours straight. That's kind of a joke, because you guys know I probably could if you give me the chance. But we got some people on here on YouTube. So let's see what we got. We got Tiffany, we got Andrea, we got Sonia, we got Juliana, Tiffany again, Suzanne. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining this live stream. Thank you assuming that everybody on here is also getting the book. I want to start off with how much I appreciate everybody's support. The biggest thing we can do for the book that I want to ask, if you're getting the book, please, please, please make sure to go write a review for the book. I'm going to say that a few times throughout this live stream, but that is getting the book is one thing. Writing a review that puts your perspective. You guys know how I feel about everyone should share their story. Writing a review for a book that's impactful for you is one of the easiest things you can do to share your story and let people know what information you pulled out of the book, because you're going to pull something different than someone else pulls out, but you're going to pull something that someone else may need to hear. But if you don't share what it is you got, then they're not going to know that that's something that they can use for themselves. So please, 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 if you're getting the book, please go write a review for it. Information about the book. All right, here's where we got. So the book, Body Confident, went live today. I got an email when I got the email. I didn't see it till I woke up this morning, but I got an email around 2:30 this morning that it went live, and all the Kindle versions, accounts, orders, all the Kindle orders were shipped out and uploaded to everyone's Kindle who pre-ordered the Kindle version. I also heard later today that some people didn't get their Kindle version and had to reorder. So if you didn't get your Kindle and your Kindle version and you pre-ordered it, you just had to go back and reorder it. I hope no one lost any money. Unfortunately, that's an Amazon thing. You have to contact them and tell them what happened. Um, there was a bigger issue with the hardcover versions. Without getting into all the details of how the different how they produce the books and how the shipping and publishing and all that kind of stuff goes, it seems like the information that I've gotten so far from Amazon and where the book was made is that they basically didn't prepare properly for the number of orders. So some people got an email initially saying that they had to verify their pre-order and that there was going to be a delay in their hardcover. So instead of it shipping today, it was going to ship out in a couple of weeks. Other people's orders were just canceled altogether, which is like, come on, guys, it's launch day. How do you cancel orders on launch day? But you were able to go back if you had a hardcover order that got canceled, you should have gotten a refund and you should be able to go back in right now and put an order in and it will get shipped as soon as possible. So they messed something up. I don't know what they messed up. Some people didn't get their Kindles. Some orders got delayed and some orders got canceled altogether on the hardcover. But that's unfortunate. I wish there was more I could do, but the pain point of self-publishing through an automated system like Amazon is once you submit everything, you kind of don't have control over much, but it makes it so much easier to publish. I think it's kind of worth it in the end. For anybody looking for more information about the book, just go to Amazon, type in Body Confident Book or type in Coach Bronson and my information will come up. We are waiting. I got about 10 minutes. I guess Casey will be on about 5:15. There is currently the Kindle version. There is the paperback version and there is the hardcover version. I have in review right now the Audible version. So unlike my last book, which I didn't get on Audible until like 2.5 years later, 2 years later. This one I recorded, I got it all done, and I did it myself. So with the last book, I hired someone to voice it. This one, I went to the studio and did it on myself. Guys, that is a lot harder. I'm thinking I was going to go into recording the Audible version and be like, oh, I'm going to talk. I'll add some stuff in. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll just ad lib here and there. There is so much focus on just saying the dang words properly. I didn't even have time to think about doing any ad libbing or other stuff. I really wanted to. It just didn't work out. So we got a couple questions here. For some reason, I'm not getting all the questions. Oh, here we go. Sonia asked a question. Is the book available on Barnes & Noble? I checked today and it isn't in my local store. Okay, so I don't know exactly the process for getting books in stores. I think there has to be enough sales of a book at a certain rate within a certain amount of time for it to make like a short list of books that they would say, oh, hey, we should probably have this in the store. We're not there yet. Today is launch day mostly online. So it should be available on Barnes & Noble. I haven't checked all of the different websites. I did see that they had the pre-order the other day when I was checking. I have not looked at Barnes & Noble yet today, but I guess you know what? We can do that now. The joy of the internet is we can do multiple things at the same time. Barnes & Noble, online bookstore. Let's see what we got. Let's see, Sonia, if we can order it online when it comes up. So like I was saying, as far as the Audible goes, that was like 7-8 hours in the studio. I lost my voice halfway through. No, I didn't really, but it came close. Let's see, Body Confident Book Bronson. Let's see. Yes, it is. Let's go to the thing. It looks like it is available. Add to cart, instant purchase. So you can get the book, I believe. Now, here's the thing. Only on Barnes & Noble, it's only the hardcover. The paperback and the Kindle version are exclusive to Amazon. It's just the hardcover if you want to get the hardcover on Barnes & Noble. So I don't know if for anyone who may have a Barnes & Noble account or gift cards or anything like that, then you can go get that there. And that might be a good option. And of course, the Audible when it comes out, I'm expecting the Audible version to come out within days, right? So they say it takes about 10 days to get everything reviewed and approved. I put it in um, the 28th, whatever day the 28th was. So I think we're only 3 days to that 10-day limit. So fingers crossed, by the end of the week, the Audible version should be on there. Okay. Yes, Tiffany, I'm actually glad too. Now, granted, I listened to the Audible playback, and it's like, you know how it is when you hear your own voice. You're like, oh my God, is that really what I sound like? This is horrible. Nobody's going to listen to this thing. Um, I hope you guys like it. That's all I got to say. It was for me listening to my own voice. Is there any such thing as voice dysmorphia? Um, for me, listening to my own voice, it was definitely very challenging to appreciate how you guys might enjoy it. So let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, it's not like I can do anything about it. I'm not recording it again, so it is what it is. Either way, I guess. Um, all right. So a little bit of history about the book. And I don't really have a format. I was thinking, like, do I want to have a schedule or points of topics of things I want to talk about for the next 2 hours? I don't know. We're gonna wing it. You guys know how I do. Sometimes I wing it. Sometimes, unless I'm really specific about a point I want to get across, then I take notes and outlines and get through all the research and stuff. But for this, I really just want to share about the book. The people that come on, when Casey comes on, when Linda comes on, when Nat comes on, I just want to talk about what their thoughts about the book were. What are the things were that they picked up on, that were impressed upon them, and what they think you guys will get out of the book. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So my last book, the Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book, came out in April of 2022, and within a couple months of having that come out and promoting that and trying to see if I could get that, to take off, I realized there was more than I wanted to say. I realized that there was a piece missing that I didn't really touch on and explain. And that really had to focus on the three things. That book, you'll see, if you have the Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book and then you read Body Confident, you're going to see major, major linkage, major parallels. There's going to be sections that may seem like they are the same book, because the ideas and the concepts are very, very similar. They're based on the same thing, right? It's the F2 method, which is what I introduced officially in Body Confident, is how I think about health and fitness. It is the process, the method, the principles behind how I base all the decisions that I make when I'm working with clients, when I'm making my own choices. Everything filters through what is in Body Confident. That's why it's important. And that's what I felt was missing out of Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness. Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness as a book was really 90% of that book was a compilation of blogs that I've written over the past 12 years. Most of that book was a raw version of the F2 method, a raw version of taking everything that I've done and how I think about health and fitness and putting it together in a book to help people understand what it really takes. That's where the core concept of fitness is freedom comes from. That it's about your ability to do things. Work capacity is more important than weight loss. That type of discussion is started in that book. What was missing from that book was an explanation. I talked and I used those concepts, and we talk in that book. There's a chapter on mindset. There's a chapter on fitness. There's a chapter on nutrition. I didn't explain in Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness where those recommendations and where that information came from at the basic level of understanding the concepts of why they are important. So we talked about, here's a bunch of things that are important that you need to do and why they work and how you can do it in Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness. It's a great tool. It's a great, I would say it's more like a list of recommendations and things to do. Body Confident is more about um, having a framework of how to think about the process, how to think about the journey, and give you a filter to help you think and evaluate the options you have and what you want to do and how you want to move forward. So that's the main difference. That's why I wrote Body Confident. I felt like there was something I needed to add to Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness, but it was already out there. So I just wrote another book. And we have a fantastic thing happening right now. Hold on a second. I just got a giant flash on my screen. We got Casey coming on. What's up, Casey?
That's all that happened. Just me coming on. That's not worth a flash.
I got just like boom. Like, what is going on? Is something happening?
Wow. It's just me. It's disappointing in the end. It's just me.
What's going on?
Dude,
I'm glad you were able to get in okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. I can just confirm right now, voice dysmorphia, dude, is absolutely a thing. I listen back to every episode that I record of Boundless Body, and I hate it every time. I do it for like quality control and to see if I can get better at the process. And funny, like we have only 5-star reviews for Boundless Body Radio, but we have one-star review that says the guests are great, the content is really great, but the host's voice is terrible. I've always been like, that's worth at least like 3 stars, 2 stars. So it's not a 1 star if we have good guests and good content. But
that's crazy. But and that's the one review that you're like, oh my God, I got to fix everything. I got to start over again.
Exactly, dragging us down to a 4.9-star review.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, I've been looking forward to this. Congratulations on the book launch. Just being on the on your YouTube channel before and hearing, the process and everything that you put in to the book itself, and knowing that like the writing the book is like the easy stuff, dealing with Amazon and the vendors and recording the whole book yourself. I've heard that from many authors that like doing that is way more than you think. So congratulations. I hope you're super proud today, and it's a great day.
Yes, it's going to be fantastic. I feel, I was looking back at the things that I did for this book and how different, the first book I wrote, The Meat Life, if anybody's interested, it's an atrocity. Don't go buy it. It was literally like 8 months after I started carnivore. I had spent so much time. I spent the time before I went carnivore looking for information on carnivore. I couldn't find anything. And then I decided, okay, I'm still going to do this. And then I did it. And then I spent like 8 months just trying to find every ounce of information I could find, joining Facebook groups, finding blogs, whatever. And basically that book, it's like just 100 pages of here's everything I've learned in the last 8 months about the carnivore diet, and references and resources. And here's some websites to go to. And here's some blogs that I found. And here's my understanding of why we don't need vitamin C. And here's how I do my macros, and which 90% of that book is good, except for the one chapter on macros. I look back on it now and I'm like, what? It's like I forgot how to do math. I don't know what is going on with that chapter. So if you get The Meat Life by me, just ignore chapter 6. Just completely ignore it. Just tear it out of the book. It doesn't exist.
Well, you are a certified personal trainer, which means you can't count to 12 anyway. So that makes sense about the
math. That is true. Sometimes I can't get by 3. My clients hate it. Like, how is this my 5th, 3rd rep? I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book I was just talking about, every iteration, and I have 18 more books in my head. So, the next book will be developed and built and written completely differently. This time when I wrote, the last book I wrote, I self-proofed it. I had, me and Grammarly and multiple dozens of hours going page by page, looking at everything and editing it. This time I hired, I didn't realize there are different kind of editors. There's design editors, and then there's proof editors. So I hired someone to look at the content and say, you have these chapters out of order. This book doesn't make sense. Let's put this paragraph here, reword this one, put it down here. Let's take these 5 pages and put them over here. Like just kind of so it's more like the flow of the information builds on itself instead of just my random thoughts all over
Never
pages,
thought
right?
of that. I've never thought about that before. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And then after all that, then I clean it all up and make it all make sense and fluff, fill it out and fill the holes and everything that they tell me to do. And then you take it to an actual proofreader who then goes through all the stuff and make sure that it's all the way it's supposed to be, does all the formatting for the book and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you're happy with the process and how it went and understanding what a process it is. I think it's interesting, like with your work, having written multiple books now, we do have an evolution in thinking. And it's even the last time you and I got to chat a month or two ago when I hosted you on my show, you had an answer that really surprised me when I said, before when you and I talked a few years ago and I asked you what the difference between the fitness piece versus the nutrition piece, you said it's 50-50, each one is equal. And I said, "Do you still feel that way?" And you're like, "Actually, no. I think it's a third fitness and a third nutrition, but it's also a third mindset. It's a mindset
Yeah.
piece that drives the other two." And when I think about your book, can you see the book, by the way?
It's right on the edge. I see half of it. Yeah, it's right on the
Okay,
edge.
no, we're doing product
Boom,
placement
there we
here.
go. Product
Yeah.
placement.
Any book sold within the next 10 or 15 minutes, I get a 10% commission. But yeah, the thing that I appreciated about the book the most is chapter 7, where you say, like, this is the most important chapter in this book. If you read nothing else, read this. And it's like you've got amazing information about nutrition, amazing information about fitness, and that's all there. But you and I have talked so many times about mindset with our clients. Why is it that some people seem to just be super self-motivated? They know what they want, they go out and get it. And other people say they want something, but when push comes to shove, it's always something different. And you writing about, the motivation, it's just simply what you want. And, you think you want to have this great body when donuts or French fries, in your case, you know what I mean? Like for a long time. So I really love
Yeah.
that you included that and made that like the centerpiece of the book, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's hard to put a percentage on it because in a lot of ways I still feel like if we're talking about practical application of the things you're doing, it's 50-50 fitness nutrition. In the overall picture of your journey, your progress, how do you get things going, then you have to put mindset in there because nothing happens until your mind is right.
Yeah.
So looking at a different level. So I kind of it's crazy. And then in some ways, because of that emphasis you have to have on the way you think about things, maybe there's what phase are you in? If you're just getting started, your fitness and nutrition doesn't matter at all. It's 0%.
Yeah.
It's all about how you think. Because if you're not thinking about your health and your journey and your quality of life and you're not doing anything, then nothing's going to happen more than you've already got. You're not going to get more than you've already got until you get your head right. At least get your head to a point where you're ready to take a step. Once you take a step, then okay, what are you stepping into now? Let's throw in the other two.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. And I'm going to play podcast host for a second and ask you,
Uh-oh.
in that chapter, you write about finding your why, which everybody talks about, but also
Yeah.
finding your why not. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that you put it in there and you divided it in a way that I had never really thought of. Of course, I think like my why is, sometimes also the why nots and the things I don't want to have happen in my life. But why did you decide to split those two and make them so distinct? I really enjoyed that part.
Because it's weird. Um, a lot of people have a harder time thinking about the things they want than the things they don't want. And I think that has to do with a contrast between if I'm thinking about something I want to be able to play with my grandkids in the backyard and not feel like crap. Okay, that's a plus. I'm also thinking about a plus because I want ice cream. And I'm wondering, this is a theory, you're touching on something I've only cursorily really started tossing around in my head, but it's like two pluses make a minus.
Mm.
I'm trying to put effort in two things that I want, and now they're competing against each other.
Mm.
But if I think about, okay, I want ice cream, but I really, 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 really want to stop freaking taking insulin and paying $600 a month and going to the doctor every month, right? Or whatever that thing is, that pain point. We talk about pain points all the time. The pain point is on the other spectrum. So now they're not directly competing for the same energy. and it can help you connect easier to the opposite side of the coin. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's just a kind of a way I've been thinking about why that is such a difference, because I often see people move a lot faster for the pain than for the pleasure.
Yeah, that's a good point. One of my favorite sayings is, when pain increases, hearing improves. Meaning, it's got to get to a point where it sucks bad enough for you. You also write about this, but it sucks bad enough for you to contemplate the change, because it is hard. You write about fear and like coming up against these things. It's not that easy. And I think it's even more compounded when the people you're writing to, the people we're speaking with, this isn't their first time trying to take a step. Oftentimes this is their 10th time or their 50th time, or it's their 17th diet and the 34th January that they said, this is the year, this is, I'm going to finally do the thing. And it always, burns and seems like a failure, and they feel like the failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I that is definitely something I tried to get across. And if everyone can understand that just because you haven't had 100% success in the past doesn't mean you can't have another 1% success in the future.
Yeah.
And it's building the 1% that matter. We can't get down on ourselves because it didn't work all the way last time.
Yeah.
You had to have learned something. If you can get out of the self-defeat mentality and start thinking about what can I take away and use the next time, then you start moving forward. And that's part of the journey too.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that you write specifically about the carnivore diet. I told you last time we chatted that I'm teaching a seminar series in my neighborhood that just concluded today. And I told everybody from the beginning at each one of the lessons that we're trying to be diet agnostic. I'm not telling you how to eat. But through the course of all these different lessons, one about cholesterol, one about food addiction, one about plant toxins, one about you just covering all these different things like macronutrients, what they do, calories in, calories out. Like, you get to this point where it's like, I'm not telling you that you should do a carnivore diet, but you learn about all these things, and it's like, it's like
don't tell anybody.
It's sneakily backing people into this thing. And so I'm curious what it was like to write about the carnivore diet. And I would say the same thing about you. You're not telling people that you should do the carnivore diet. Every reader should do a stricter version of the carnivore diet. You're just sharing your experience and how it worked for you, which I really like that approach. But what was it like to write specifically about carnivore? Because you could have left that out. You could have just said like Whole Foods, Whole Foods kind of diet. I'm just curious what that process was like.
Yeah. And I put that right in the front when I was telling my story. Hey, I'm carnivore. This is what changed my journey. And then I also say, I'm not telling you that you have to do this. That's what this book is about. I'm telling you my journey, what I decided to do for me that's working fantastically. It's the reason carnivore works for me that this book is about. Because the reason something may work for you is going to be completely different. And you may not have to go carnivore to get that. And that's what it's about. It's about the individual context. It's about what a person needs and the principles that work. At some level, we have to come to a common set of characteristics for nutrition and fitness that everybody requires. There has to be some common ground for there's a minimum requirement for nutrition. There's a minimum requirement for some exercise description characteristic parameter that every human being requires in order to survive. If you're not getting that, then it doesn't matter what else you're doing. And the book, Body Confident, that we're talking about is my attempt, my interpretation, my experience, what I've seen from a concept perspective that has worked on how I can explain what those minimum requirements are for you to live a healthy life. And if you can get those, there is no label for the nutrition. There is no label for the fitness. It's, are you doing these basic things? If you can say yes to, I am doing these basic things, then 90% of what you need to do to be healthy is already done. You don't need a diet. You don't need a special diet. You don't need a special program. If you can say yes to these things, I guarantee you're going to be moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what that's about. So yes, I don't think I've made videos about it. I've talked about it before. I don't think anybody needs carnivore diet right out the gate. I think a lot of people do it. It's drastic. It's extreme. I think Most people just need to stop drinking Coke.
Hmm.
And that can be step one. There's no carnivore in that.
Hmm.
Now, if someone is trying to be as optimal as possible, then we can get into the nuances of why the carnivore diet might be the best option. But most people aren't there. And, we've talked about the target, right?
Hmm.
If we look at health as a target, the optimal, perfect 100% way for everyone to eat is in the middle. We're all around in different places.
Yeah.
If we're all trying to get to the center, does it matter how we define the center as long as we're making improvements from where we are? Right? That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about it. It's tough because I do believe that somewhere in the carnivore adjacent space is where you're going to find that kind of health,
Yeah.
regardless of how big the center of that target is. You mentioned, when you went carnivore, it was about the same time I went carnivore. And one of the only resources we had back in the time, you had to write your own book. One of the only resources we had was the Carnivore Cast podcast with Scott Mislinski, good friend of mine. And he always defines carnivore as like a hyper carnivore in nature is 75% or more of their calories come from animal foods. And I think if
Mm-hmm.
we are somewhere in that ballpark, I think we're good. But it's also like what people are truly up against that people kind of complain about. And they tell me like, yeah, I want to eat that way, but my son doesn't eat that way. And we've got a party this Friday or Saturday night. And then, we do brunch on Sunday mornings. And there's all these like reasons. And I understand like how difficult it is for people out there to do it, even though it's such a simple thing. But that again goes back to that mindset of saying like, okay, then these are the consequences you're going to have to deal with, because that's the reality of the situation that is going against what is health promoting, and they clash. They clash against
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
other, so it's tough.
Well, and you're talking about another thing that I talk about in the book. We talk about extremes. Make tweaks, not make small changes, not extremes. Don't go left and right. Don't go from standard American diet to carnivore. That's the most ridiculous thing, because the bigger the change, the bigger the resistance. The bigger the change, the less sustainable that change is going to be. You have to make small changes, and you can't go from I'm doing all this stuff to now I'm going to go 90% carnivore. I love the fact that hypercarnivore is 70% of your food intake from meat, because immediately we can go to those people who are being overly dogmatic about how much food, how many freaking Brussels sprouts somebody has on their plate when they post a picture in a carnivore group, and they start berating them because that didn't have a mother. Did that come from the ground? I want to slap them.
I know. I hate
Guys,
it.
that's not what this is about. This is about, is that person making a better choice with that food on their plate than they did yesterday? That's what freaking matters,
Yeah.
right? Get off your high horses, get off your percentage counters, and start helping people make better decisions every day, and we'll turn this whole world around.
Yeah, the vegans are the ones making food that looks like meat, that it's not meat. They're trying to be like us. We don't need to
Right.
try to be like them and try to police everybody else.
Oh
We don't
God,
need
it's
to
so
go down that path.
frustrating. It's
I
so
know. I
freaking
agree.
frustrating.
I agree.
Yes, you're asking questions now, get me fired up.
Good.
All right.
This is my favorite
So,
thing.
what was the bit besides the stuff we've already talked about? What was the one thing that you think people should take away from the book?
I mean, we already talked about it, but I think the core principles in chapter 7 are what stand out the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost as if, I mean, I like when I said centerpiece earlier, I like that it kind of does fit in the center of the book. Not just metaphorically, but also physically. But it would almost be interesting to see if somebody read chapter 7 first and then reread the rest of the book, because
Ooh,
it's
okay.
it's very it's just interesting, some of the points you make that I don't think a lot of people understand about the willpower, like we talked about making smart goals, like you talked about. The whys and the why nots, I think, are really powerful. There's just a lot in there for somebody to really consider. That's by far the thing that stood out the most and set it apart from your other book, which I also have. More product placement. Um, and yeah, really tackling that, I think, was the best thing that you did. So yeah, kudos to you again. The other stuff is there. It's not easy, but it's simple, and the fitness stuff and the nutrition stuff and all the other things we need to be thinking about, it's there. Again, recommending that people start slowly implement these things, in a slow and manageable way. the guides are there that are simple to understand, but I think the main thing is that chapter 7 about mindset really sets this book apart.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you said you got a lot of stuff going on today, so thank you for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
And if there's anything else you want to let, where can people find you, and what do you got going on that you want to let people know about right now?
People can find us on our website, which is mindboundlessbody.com. Yeah, that's not important right now. What's important is your book, man. Appreciate the plug, but go to Bronson's site. Your social media is excellent. You say I'm busy. You've got way more irons in the fire than I do. You always have something going on. So I love your work, man. I love that you and I can have really like kind of informal conversations that also are quite profound. We've done that several times. We've been able to do it in person as well. It's just, you're somebody I really jive with, and I really appreciate the way you get this message out there. So, and thank you for the book, and thank you for the dedication in the book. I'm happy to be in your gravity as well, and I'm glad that we have found each other and being equally passionate about sharing this message.
Very much so, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Same with the work and the passion. There's not a lot of people out there like you, so keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thanks, man. Likewise. Keep up the good work.
Take it easy. Thanks.
See ya.
All right, guys, that was Casey Ruff. If you haven't met him or followed him or watched any of his stuff, please go check out Boundless Body Radio. Fantastic stuff. I'm on there a couple times. Nat's on there with me, I think at least once. Lots of good stuff. So, gosh, man, so many different things. Let me see what the schedule is. Who's up next? I think Nat is up next at 6:00. She's at the gym right now. Okay, do we want to take any bets on if she's late or if she's on time? Yep, she's on at 6:00, and then Linda is on at 6:30. Okay, so you guys got me for another 20 minutes. I got to come up with something to talk about for 20 minutes. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the book. Obviously, before we do that, let me recap some information for anybody that may be joining a little bit later. There was an issue with the launch. Initially, Amazon didn't have all the stuff with the hardcover shipping and ordering proper. They didn't have it all set up right, or I don't know what they did. They didn't do something right. Whether they didn't have enough books made, whether they didn't have the orders set up properly. But it's all fixed now. Unfortunately, some of the hardcover pre-orders were denied, were canceled. You got the refund, you have to reorder again. But you should be able to go back and order the hardcover. The paperback is available now. The Kindle version is available, and the Audible, fingers crossed, by the end of the week will also be available. So as soon as possible, you should be able to go out there and get any of those 4 versions of the book. Or if you want all 4 of them, go for it. Have a blast. Right. So if you want the Audible, like I said, that is in review right now. I just checked a little bit earlier today. They have to review the metadata. They have to review the audio quality, the graphics, some other stuff. So as those little check boxes disappear on the website, then I should hopefully be able to say we have an Audible version that is published and live for everybody. We got a couple other people that have joined. Let's see. Karen's on. What's up? I saw Jonathan. Let's see. Carnivore Muscles on. What's going on? Neil and Julie are on. What's up? Just been a fantastic weekend with Neil and Julie in Tennessee, in Gatlinburg, long Labor Day weekend. Guys, there is nothing like getting away from your everyday environment, taking some time, going to a place that's quiet, hanging out with some cool people, just conversing, sharing, having that community, having some genuine, real heart-to-heart talks about things, and just in general, just connecting with other human beings. Especially when you're like myself and Coach Nat, who spend most of our time in our apartment working or at work. For me, we don't get a lot of personal, interpersonal interaction. So it was fantastic to get away, hang out with Neil and Julie, get to know them a little bit, share about our story, hear about their story. Played some spades. They introduced us to a new card game called Phase 10, which we had a blast. It was fun. We taught them how to play spades, which we had a blast. It was fun. We'll talk about that another time because there's a relationship thing there. Nat and I have never played spades together. We both have played spades in the past, but if anybody that knows spades, it's a partner game. You and your partner play against another set of partners. Our ability to play and the way that we think about the way that we're connected to each other, us playing spades, this is a little sappy right now, but it brought us closer. It's really, we may have to talk about this on a coffee talk sometime, but I came away from the weekend outside of getting new friends and building a relationship with Neil and Julie. I felt like just the spades playing with Natalie brought us closer. It was a really weird phenomenon that we may have to dig into sometime. Anywho, hey, John, what's up, man? Hard copy canceled. Yeah, John, you're one of the ones that got canceled, man. I hate to highlight the bad stuff, the negative stuff, but got an email from Amazon, hard copy canceled. My Kindle did come through. Okay, so your Kindle came through, but your hard copy was canceled. All right, so if you want to get a hard copy, you should be able to go back and order that again. Okay, so for anybody that's wondering, what is the book about? So we talked about why I wrote the book a little bit before Casey came on. It was a follow-up, kind of like a follow-up to Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness. It was a whole level of information, of concepts and things I wanted to share that I didn't cover in that book. Another aspect of it is I have a deep passion, not just for helping individuals, helping you guys figure out how to improve your health and fitness and understand what quality of life is all about. I love coaching coaches. I have always been someone who really likes developing other people to a point where they can help other people. One of the most enjoyable times I've ever had when I was in the military was when I was at that second and third level leadership position where I had junior leaders beneath me that I could help them learn how to be leaders for their people. And that has always been the case. I love coaching coaches. When I owned my gym, one of the best parts about owning my gym was being able to bring coaches in and teach them how to coach. That is something that, I just got a thing. That is something I've always been passionate about. And that was initially part of what was going to be included in the book, InBody Confident. Coach Nat just messaged and said what'd she say? See y'all on camera in a few. Cheers on the book launch. So that means she's on her way down. She went to the gym upstairs to work out so that she would be closer and less inclined to be late. So she's on her way down. Woohoo! All right. I also got to figure out where she's going to sit. I got to get a chair or something. She'll bring a chair in. So where was I headed with that? Oh, coaches. So that's another aspect of something that I initially included in the book. Initially, guys, the book that is published, the finished product that you guys are getting now, is about 2/3 of what I originally wrote. Okay. There's a whole bunch of additional stuff that didn't fit in the book because in my mind, I was writing it for coaches, right? So I said earlier, and this is really a big part of the book is a framework. It's a critical thinking guide for your health journey. The idea behind that is I want you to be able to coach yourself. I want you to be able to look at information, look at where you are, who's sending the information, where are you trying to go, have a filter in the middle, which is Body Confident and the F2 method, the framework that I introduce in the book. Have that as a filter between those things and help you say, that's going to work. That's not going to work. Here's how I'm going to do that. I don't think that makes sense right now. I'm only going to make this much of a change. I'm not going to make this much of a change. All those types of things. Okay. So the idea is it's a book for coaches. You become your own coach. Now, because I was thinking about coaches, I had a whole bunch of stuff in there for coaches. I decided to take it all out. It didn't make sense to try to write 2 books in one. So I took that stuff out. But here's what I did. I put it all in free downloads. So if you get the book, when you get Body Confident, the book, whether it's the Kindle, the Audible, the paperback, or the hardcover, there's going to be a link at the end of every chapter. If you go to the link, okay, click on the link, go to the bottom of the page, there's a form to fill out where you will get access to all of the free resources, guides, lists, worksheets, information, graphics. I've got some appendix and references for some exercise stuff, for nutrition stuff, for comparing different types of exercises, different types of nutrition plans, and what they're good for, where their weaknesses are, or what their focuses are, to help you determine which plan or combination of things would make the best bet for me, right? So when you get the book, go to the website, go to the thing, fill it out, okay? When you fill that out, it's going to pop up and say, hey, did you write a review? Go write a review. If you get the book and you don't write a review, then I don't know, one less person this month is going to turn carnivore. I don't know. Go write a review, okay? Rhonda, is the Audible ready? Not yet. The Audible is submitted, but it is not approved and published just yet. But it should be by the end of the week. Fingers crossed. Okay. All right. We still got plenty of time. We got 15 minutes before she's on. That's fine. That'll work. I got people calling me. Hold on. All right. So that is where the extra stuff came in. Will the list come with the Audible too? Yes, everything comes with. So once the Audible is published, then I have to tell them where the link is. They'll add it to the page, etc. It may take. This is a good question, Juliana. Actually, there is a small chance that when the Audible gets published, it will be like a 24-hour period before they update it with the link to all the downloads. I'll tell everybody what the website is now. It's super easy. Go to bodyconfidentbook.com and go to the bottom of the page and fill out the form. That's all you got to do. So if you go to my website, coachbronson.com, there's a big button with Body Confident on it. Just click on that, go to the bottom of the page, fill out the form, and you can get all the free information, the free stuff. Okay. It's additional stuff to the book. You can go download it if you want to without even getting the book. Okay. But not a lot of it won't make sense if you haven't read the book. Right. So go read the book and then download the stuff, and it will be super beneficial and helpful. Hey, what's up, Terry? So does that help, Juliana? Okay. It's the main parts of the book. I don't want to get into too much detail, but let's basically talk about the F2 method and the idea that there are kind of phases, levels, things that we need to focus on as we go through our journey. And I'm wondering if I can pull up a little graphic here. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can share this. Let me pull this up because, again, I didn't really plan this thoroughly. Let's go to this folder. And I'm going to see if I can pull up the one of the main graphics that kind of walks through what the F2 method is, and then maybe we can kind of discuss it in 15 minutes before Nat gets here. Let's see, images. Let's see here. Go to there. Is that it? Is that it? Is that the final one? That'll work. All right, now question is, how do I share this? Got to open it, photos. Okay. I got to figure out how to share. Present. Share screen. I want to share, not that. A window. We're going to share that. And boom. Ha! Look at that. Can everybody see that? All right. Here's the F2 method, guys. Core concepts of the F2 method. The things that we want to look at when we are going through, and this is the book basically breaks this down, all of this down into explaining what all the different pieces are, how they fit together, and what you're working through. When you're looking at things, the first level of evaluation when you're looking at information and where you are and what you want to do is what I'm looking at applicable to me, the individual. It's not a general recommendation. And how do I make it applicable to me? Am I looking at my individual circumstance? Is this something that's going to look at all of the different aspects of my life? I'm not going to make a change in one area that's going to completely destroy another area of my life, because that's not sustainable. Is it concepts based? Am I looking at things from a, what is the minimum effective dose of a thing that's going to help me move forward, as opposed to a dogmatic or a protocol or a technique that has to be done a certain way. And if you don't do it this way, nothing's going to work. Okay. We have to look at the bigger picture things. What are the smaller level things that I got to make sure I'm doing right before I get into the more specific things? Is the change that I'm making something that I can actually sustain? Or is it too big or too hard or too much of a jump outside of my comfort zone? And then is it something that I can measure? We can't make progress if we don't know if we're making progress. We have to be specific about what we're trying to do, and we have to be able to do something that we can actually tell if it's getting us to where we want to go. Okay. Karen, you're saying it's too small on your phone. Let me see if I can. Let's see here. Let's go here. Nope, that didn't do it. That didn't do it. Let's put it back in there. Add to stage. Can I make it? That didn't make it. No, that made my screen full screen. Let's see if there's a way I can make it. Remove full screen layout. Haha, is that a little better? That's about as large as I can make it. It definitely is tiny. Well, here, let's do this. I will zoom in on the app. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. I'm figuring things out, guys. See, everything's a learning process. All right. So those are the first 5 core concepts of the F2 method. Okay. It has to be individual. It needs to be comprehensive to that individual's lifestyle. It should be based in concepts that work, not protocols or techniques that are specific. It should be sustainable, and you should be able to measure it. Okay. Now, once we figure those things out, then we got to look at what are the things that we need to work on. Where are we applying these changes? Are we applying these changes in the mindset domain, the fitness domain, or the nutrition domain? And those are all fairly obvious. I don't think I need to dig too much into those. I do dig into those in the book. Okay. A lot more detail in the book. All right. Then when we talk about that, what are the things that we need when we talk about I'm applying things and I'm doing things in one of these domains? Okay, that's where we get into the 9 tenets of health. Okay, there's 9 of them. You notice there's 3 in mindset, there's 3 in fitness, and there's 3 in nutrition. You have to know why you're doing it. You have to know who you are. Who are you trying to be? What's the identity you're trying to create for yourself? You have to know how you're planning on doing that. What's your plan? What's your goal? What are the things you're going to do? Okay, so that's all where that comes from. What is your why? What is your why not? What is your motivation? Do you have specific time frames? And how do you know if you're pushing too hard or not pushing hard enough? All that kind of stuff goes into mindset and thought processes. When we talk about fitness and nutrition, we're talking about your systems of function, which there's a whole section on what is a system of function. And this section is specifically in here, guys, because I want you to understand what your metabolism really is. I want you to understand that your metabolism has nothing to do with energy. It has to do with function. Okay. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, get the book because it's all in there. All right. The tenets for fitness: move weight, move well, move often. You guys have heard me say that before. The tenets for nutrition, you've heard me say these as well: nutrient density, bioavailability, and satiety. When you can say, yes, I've got these things locked in place, then no other things that you need. There's nothing else you're going to need to do really, as far as trying to figure out all the biohacks and other specific things that people are telling you to do. If you can do this stuff in here, guys, you're going to be so far ahead of the game. You're not going to be worried about cold baths, cold plunges, and saunas and red light therapy and all that other kind of stuff, unless you really want to be. Okay. They will become options, not requirements. And that's what we want them to be. They're not requirements. Those are options. The requirements are these things here on the screen. Okay. So that is the F2 method. That is what's in the book. Does that make sense? You guys does that help you get an idea kind of what the book is about, where it's going? And obviously, if you have any questions, please ask. This is all, you guys know me. I love to talk about stuff. So if there's any of this stuff that didn't make sense or you want me to get in too deep, I'm not going to get in too deep because I want you to get the book. I want you to get the book because I want you to have something that's readily accessible. Here's another thing, another way to think about the book. This book is literally 12 years of how I've worked. Everything that I've developed into the concepts and methodologies that I apply when I work with people every single day. That's what this book is. This book is not just a critical thinking guide for your health journey. This book is not just a framework to help you make decisions on your journey. This book is Coach Bronson in your back pocket. Hopefully that's not scary. Okay. This book is me sitting next to you, helping you figure out what you want to do for your life. How do you want to improve your quality of life? What are the things you're looking at? What steps do you want to take? Okay. This is my version because I don't have the money and I haven't taken the time to train an AI. Don't think it's not on my list of things to do, to train an AI how to think like me. And then you can just have an AI answer your questions for you. That's on my list of things to do. Okay. Juliana, I'm already in your backyard. Yes, but you can't just pull me out of a bag anytime you want and get some questions answered. Right. And I'm not giving anybody any ideas. Don't try to come kidnap me and put me in a bag. I just heard the door open. Are you back? I don't know why I still have headphones on. I'm not talking to anybody on the computer. I just heard the door open. I think she's back. So yeah, so it's me in your back pocket. Hopefully that's not a scary thing and it's helpful to you guys. Don't threaten me with a good time. That's funny. Let's see here. We got Rhonda. I'm going to get the Audible, but I need to talk to my coaches. Oh, okay. Rhonda, I am so glad. Babe, you're going to love this question. Okay, Rhonda says, I'm going to get the Audible, but I need to talk to my coaches, Natalie and Mary Grace, about your book. They may not want me to do anything that may derail my training. You know I'm joking. Okay, so first of all, I know you're joking, Rhonda. That's kind of funny because we all do the same stuff, right? If you're getting information from Coach Nat, it's 99% possibility you'd get the same information from me. Here's the thing, though. What you're referencing, the idea that you're referencing, that reading a book and doing something that's in a book is going to be different than what your coaches are telling you. If any of you are listening and you're following the information from influencers or coaches or communities that don't meet the stuff you see in this book from a concept perspective, the common sense, this makes sense, this is how things work, these are the things that should go together. What is the minimum effective dose of what should work? Do I need to go this far to see progress, or can I see the same progress from here and everything else is extra? I don't need to be spending that extra effort if this is going to work. Why do I need to go here to do X, Y, or Z if the same thing will happen when I go here? That's where a lot of people are at today, guys. That's why a lot of you are struggling, is because you're trying to jump as far outside of your comfort zone as possible, or as far as someone else is telling you to jump, before you even evaluate where you are and if that's just how far you need to jump to see the progress you need to make. Some of you just need to make a step to see progress and give yourself some success that you can take another step after that, instead of jumping feeling like a failure because you didn't make it all the way and now you got to come back. Okay, so oh,
I've been listening to every second.
you look good. Y'all, she just came in leopard print tights. She's trying to distract me. We got an hour. You can't make me. I can't stop. We got an hour to go. I can't stop. Psych.
He's such a bad boy.
Bad boys, bad boys.
What
All
you
right.
gonna do?
First of all, we're using one mic, so you have to let us know if this mic is working. Can you hear us? Is everything okay?
Hey, Vam.
Rhonda would
just
just.
very loud
That was very loud.
in the mic.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? 1 minute to spare, Juliana said.
You know what? Let me go on the other side of you. I need light. There we go. That's better.
All right. Can you guys hear us okay? Juliana says thumbs up. Can you hear her okay?
Hey, hey, can you hear me from over here?
All right. Hi, babe.
Well, yes, I promise Rhonda's comment was not a plant. It almost sounded like it was.
It almost sounded like it was, but I liked it. It was good because it kind of brought up the whole, and that's why I said, when you get the book, guys, if what you're doing now doesn't match the basic things at the top level, then that's what you need to start reevaluating. And if you're getting that information, you're doing those things because another coach or influencer or community you're in, that's what everyone else is doing, then maybe that's a sign that there's some reevaluation of where you're getting your information or how you're applying the information should be done.
I was going to say that comment alone, it really sums up why you need this book. Because this book is, it is a way of evaluating what you are currently attempting to do or being advised to do. We used to joke that we were going to have a whole topic or a t-shirt. We're going to make a t-shirt saying, "I'm not your side coach." And I said that just as he took us.
Wow, I forgot about that. You're right.
Because we would have so many people come ask us questions.
Who already have coaches.
Who already are working with coaches one-on-one and just asking for our opinion on what their coach is telling us.
Right.
Which worries me for multiple reasons. But, first and foremost, I hope you're working with someone you feel you can trust and you could go to them with those questions. Mm-hmm. Any good coach would encourage you to ask questions to better understand what they are asking you to do or advising you to do.
Yeah.
And then secondly, just the fact that you're second guessing.
Well, that
tells you a lot.
We're getting into a whole nother thing right now. Here's the thing. Some of you may not be second guessing where you're getting the information and you're just going with the flow. And that is another reason why you need this book, because if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, it's very likely there's a reason you're not getting where you think you want to go. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this book will help you figure out, why am I doing what I'm doing? Okay. Why do I think I'm doing what I'm doing? Why do I think I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it versus is what I'm doing actually doing? There's a lot of doings in here. How else can I say this without saying doing 18 million times?
You want to give an example? Examples help.
Example. I'm fasting to improve my metabolism. Do you need to fast? Well, I'm also having trouble sleeping. I'm also having lack of energy. I'm also having X, Y, or Z other issues. I'm having hormone imbalances, right? You're having issues related to something you're doing that you think is supposed to be helping you. But it may help you short term. Is it going to help you long term? Is it sustainable? Is it providing adequate nutrition over the long period? Right? There's a lot of other. Does that protocol meet the concepts of what you need as a human being first before the special effect is applied? That's kind of what we're talking about. Is that a good?
Yeah, and I think what we're getting at here is the reason why this book would not compete.
Yes. Why it wouldn't compete with what a good coach is telling you to do
is because this book, number one, it's not a protocol. It's not a diet. It's not an exercise program to follow. It's not telling you do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. It is actually teaching you how to evaluate and decide what to do or whether something is right for you. So while it might actually compete.
It might.
The only way it would, it's not really competing.
At the concept level.
Yeah, it's not really competing. It's more, it may make you second guess what you're doing, and
which is
that
good.
would be a good thing.
That's a good thing. If you see something that goes, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Why am I doing this?
If there's a red flag,
that's a good thing.
This is like a guide to identify the red flags.
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah. I should have called it "Where Are Your Red Flags" in the subtitle. That should be man. Oh my gosh. Okay. In case anybody didn't know, my mom is on now. Hi, Mom.
Hi,
Mom. Okay. So.
Oh my gosh, you just made me realize I didn't share this with my mom.
You didn't tell your mom this was happening?
I didn't.
Oh my!
She's gonna be so sad.
She's gonna be mad at you. Just text her right now.
I should text her right there.
This is live. This isn't edited. Yeah. This is unscripted. It's kind of whatever.
I'm going to send her the link.
A guide to debunking. Karen says a guide to debunking.
Ooh, yes.
The debunker's guide.
The debunker's guide to the galaxy. He just fell in love with me a little bit.
Y'all, you don't even know. We've had one conversation of me explaining to her what Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was. And that was like a year ago.
Sometimes
the fact that you remembered and made that connection, because I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't think you'd remember.
Sometimes I say things that appeal to his nerdy nature and it just melts his heart.
Wow.
She's on! Yay! I felt so bad. Oh, look, my mom's on too, guys.
Everyone say hi to Natalie's mom.
The moms are here. She said, no worries, I'm on. Of course.
She must get notified whenever I live.
Yes, because she's a subscriber.
She's a subscriber. Okay. So quick updates. Everyone's able to order now. Something happened. So the pre-orders just crapped.
It was the pre-orders.
It was the pre-orders that crapped. But everyone can order now.
And will it ship before October 3rd, or are they?
No, some of them were like September 6th. Stuff like that. So
I got gypped. I have to wait.
Yours won't ship till October 3rd?
Yeah.
Yikes.
But it's okay because we already have a copy.
I was gonna say we got 2 copies on the thing out there.
I just have to wait for my personal copy.
I haven't signed one. I haven't signed one for you yet.
Yeah, you have to sign it for me. Don't say it.
I will.
Our moms are watching.
I will sign it for you very gentlemanly. Okay. Andrea said, I just got a notice from Amazon.
Andrea reordered.
They couldn't process. I already reordered. Okay. Sorry, Andrea. I just love it when a plan comes together or not the first day. This is what being resilient is all about, guys. Yes. This is that mindset aspect, right? I could be super pissed off because didn't go through 100%. People got the stuff. It's like, I can't control it. So why am I going to waste my energy on it?
Fear of control.
Right? I'm not going to waste my energy on it. Is it perfect? No.
Nothing is that serious.
Nothing is that serious. What was your thing?
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious. What was the other one? There's another one.
Which one?
Oh, I can't remember it. I remember brain cramp. All right. They are old, not dead. Go ahead, Bronson. Make them blush.
Words from my own mother. She says.
I'm putting that on there. All right. So Juliana gave me permission to flirt with Natalie on screen.
I mean, if they've watched our coffee talks, there have been plenty of innuendo.
Thank you, Juliana. Okay. What do you want to talk about with the book? What do you think is something that people should take away from reading the book, besides what we just talked about? Anything else?
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
Everything.
Everything?
Let's see. You already talked about the quality of life domains.
I did. I just did a screen share. I did a screen share of that.
I saw you talking about what they're going to get, the downloads.
You know what?
Did you talk
That's a
about
good
the
idea. You know
downloads?
what I did, but let's walk through that. Now that I know I can share my screen.
Oh, you can share that? That's
yeah.
cool.
Let's go here.
And yes, somebody was asking if the downloads will be available for the Audible purchases. And yes, right?
Yes. I got to find the download folder. Bonus material. Okay. Let me pull this out so that it just shows that. And we're going to go here. Hold on. I'm trying to set it up so you guys can see kind of all the things.
Go full screen.
No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go here. We're going to present, share screen, share window. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Oop.
Whoop.
Add to stage. Okay. Here is what's in the folder. So I'm not going to make it super clear. Maybe I can make this a little bit wider. Oh, that makes everything smaller though. All right. If I go slower, then it goes bigger. Okay.
Oh, you can just scroll.
Yeah, I'll just scroll. All right. So we have the 60-day body confident pro challenge. Now this is
challenge. I know
there is a challenge. I don't know.
I
forgot. I totally forgot to talk about this part of it before.
I'm so glad I brought it up.
I'm so glad. Okay. So at the end of this book, guys, there is a 60-day program that I walk you through step by step how to use the method that we just talked about. So the F2 method is the whole program of the concepts and the domains and the tenets and how to pull those things together and how to put your information into it. How do you find your why? How do you figure out what the best movement option for you is? All that kind of stuff. The 60-day program kind of walks you through that. My idea for the 60-day program was to kind of steal from the Whole30 challenge, from 75 hard, from these things that are out there in the public that are all extremes and are all based on general recommendations that don't work for everybody.
And they're arbitrary.
They're just arbitrary things that don't really have any specific.
You know what it was? Some person decided that they wanted to do that.
Right.
In both cases of those two examples, it was a person who chose some criteria for themselves.
And that's what
and then they ended up sharing it with other people, and then it became this protocol.
Right.
It was just criteria that they chose to do.
Yeah.
And they probably went through a method similar to yours that they wouldn't have known they went through.
That's the thing.
In their own decision-making process
to get to that point.
What was important to them and why it ended up on that list.
Right.
And so you're kind of deconstructing that and saying, if you wanted to come up with your own challenge, here's how you would do it. And that's basically your challenge, is helping people figure out their own challenge.
Their own challenge. Exactly. Absolutely. So that's in there, step-by-step guide. So it's in the book, but then I also made it its own like PDF download, so you can have access to just that piece of it. If you want to print it out, write on it, do it, share it with friends. One of the big things
together.
That's one of the things. That's the other piece of that. The reason I wanted to copy like the Whole30, 75 hard idea is because I think it would be awesome if people took this and did it with friends.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to get 3, 4, 5, 6 people. We're going to do this 60-day thing. We'll work through this together, because the aspects that have to do with the mindset stuff can be challenging doing it by yourself.
Yep.
But if you know you're going to have conversations with a friend, or you're going to get a group of friends together, and you're going to talk about, what do I really want? What am I struggling with? Where's my challenges? Where do I want to go? That's often better in a group setting than it is trying to sit by yourself sometimes.
Accountability.
Yeah.
Solidarity. Somebody else is working on this too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's in there.
And you can bounce ideas off each other too.
Yep. And this is in here. This is just a reference that I want to talk about real quick. I know I said I wasn't going to go over everything, but the body confidence pyramid. This is when we talk about what is body confidence. And I put this in here because I want everyone to understand that, have a visual for what it means to trust your body.
Ooh.
And it has nothing to do with how you look. It has nothing to do with how you weigh. It doesn't even have anything to do with how you feel about yourself.
Wow.
Okay. It has to do with, there is risk in life are you able to deal and handle with that risk? Or are you trying to stay away from all risk because you can't handle it? That's what body confidence is about.
That's the concept for my ladies who are on that we've talked about. You don't want to have to live in a straitjacket with padded walls.
Yep.
It's not about protecting yourself from any temptation ever because you can't handle temptation. It's not about never participating in another social event with friends or family because you can't handle being around the food. Right. It's about making yourself stronger so that you can be in any situation surrounded by anything
and handle it
and still be able to make solid choices for yourself.
Yep. So that is what body confidence actually is. For anybody that didn't know, I have a workout tracker that you can get online. This is a sample of what that workout tracker is. It's a journal, not a workout tracker. Sorry, a daily journal that you can get online. It's the Ultimate Ketogenic Living Well Journal.
Ooh.
Yes. You can go to Amazon and get that as well.
It's pretty cool.
This is a sample of the page, and there's I think I put literally 365 pages. So there's a page for every day.
Wow.
If someone wanted to do it. So this is a sample. I just put that in there. You don't have to get the book, but this is a sample of something that you could do if you're looking to journal or keep track of things that you're doing every day to kind of reach your goals.
Yeah, you could download it and use it as a template.
Yep. There is a breakdown of common fitness programs. So this is, I'll just pop that up. Fitness programs, method review, F2 method review. Basically, I take a bunch of different fitness programs that are popular out there, CrossFit, bodybuilding, powerlifting, different things, and kind of break them up into how we define fitness and then what the programs impact the most for which aspects of fitness.
I remember when you were putting that together
to kind of help people figure out what they should, where they're at and what they can do. And, or if I do this, what can I expect kind of thing. Right. And then there's also a reference. All of the graphics and tables that are in the book are available by themselves.
That's especially important for you ladies getting and gentlemen getting the Audible.
Yes, the Audible.
That'll be really important.
Yeah, and even the Kindle can be hard sometimes to kind of see and keep it, but it's all right there. And then this is a mini journal. I love the mini journal because it is less intimidating than here's a big book, go sit down for 30 minutes and figure out how you feel about life and write it down. That's what a lot of people think journaling is, right?
Oh my God.
It's something, it's one little thing, and there's one little row where you can just put in, it's Monday, I feel like crap, and I'm craving bonbons because I had a stressful day at work.
I love that you pull that back up on the screen. Look at the top. Use this every time you're craving something.
Yes.
You could print out a bunch of these, put them on your refrigerator in a little clip.
Yep.
And then when you're going to open the refrigerator, grab a page and instead start writing.
Start writing, right? And it doesn't have to be a lot. It's just something to, because the important pieces of journaling is, when did it happen? Why did it happen? And how did you feel?
Yes.
That's it. And that's really what you're trying to track.
Those are the prompts I use for clients who struggle with binging.
Yeah. And you don't have
a binge journal, and
right.
It's the same idea.
And you don't have to write a page. You can do it in one sentence if you need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a non-scale victory for those of you who struggle with the scale being the only thing that matters to you.
I love this.
Okay. So
that's
if
really
you have
cool.
some other ideas on things that you might want to track, and then you can add more, right? I got a couple blank spaces on here, but if you want to take another one and make your own, you can do that too. Nutrition protocols, similar to what I did with the fitness protocols. I did a review of common nutrition protocols.
That's going to be a good one, guys.
To kind of see how do we define nutrition, including things like sustainability, nutrient density, things like that. Where do they go? I stole this from somebody. I don't know who I know that could have had this.
Does this look familiar to anyone?
Does anybody in the Keto Bikini Academy, does this look familiar to anybody?
Very well readable, very easily readable.
I did tweak it a little bit, kind of change the font a little bit.
You have to send that to me. I'll put it back in my stuff again.
Yeah.
But
And
new and
then
improved.
for those people that are just getting started with movement, I put in a essential movement scaling guide.
Ooh.
So all
like
of the essential movements,
progressing.
progressives, all the essential movements. And I'll just do an example. This one I'll zoom in on. So if you're learning how to squat, or maybe you haven't squatted ever, okay? What is a squat? Here is what it is. And here are 10 different ways that you can squat. Oh, sorry, I did 14. 14 different ways you can squat.
Wow. That is
right.
cool.
With detailed movements, and that it goes from basic to more advanced. So maybe you can squat fine, but you want to say, well, squatting is kind of boring now. How do I make it more difficult? Well, here's a couple ways you can make it more difficult.
Ooh, Bulgarian split squats. That should have been
Right.
number
So,
100.
and there, yeah. And so, and there's a section for each of the 7 essential movements. And then there is the graphic that you saw earlier. It's a little extended because I have some of the additional things where in the book we talk about once you have the basics, now it's where you experiment. Now it's where you start playing around with some of the specific protocols and tools and hacks that people that are out there to see if you need them or if you like them or if you can do them or not. So you got to get all this stuff done. And then once you're ready, then you can start experimenting with the other stuff. So
that's cool.
That's a lot of the stuff that's in here. This is what's in here now. I will say that doesn't mean there won't be additional stuff in here at other times. That as time goes on, I may come up with something, or some of you may respond and say, hey, I'd love to have this, or I'd love to have that. Can you make something up? And then I might throw it in here too. So
this guy has more ideas than
I got ideas.
The world can handle.
The world can handle. I don't know about that. Let's see.
So I'm sure there will be more added.
Everyone's saying the straitjacket is getting looser.
Tiffany loves the idea of the straitjacket. Yeah.
We
need to be able to function on our own.
We should get Celeste to make us a logo that's somebody busting out of a straitjacket.
That would be cool.
Celeste, if you're watching, we need a logo of someone busting out of a straitjacket. A steak busting out of a straitjacket.
Oh, snap.
Or a cow. A cow busting out of a straitjacket. Oh my God, that's awesome. Okay, let's see. Stop screen. We'll stop sharing that. All right. I think I want to make sure to see if Linda's messaged me. She should be coming on. No, that's just a reminder.
Oh.
My car insurance is calling me. Let's see. I have not heard from Linda. I have a message. Is it from her? Nope, it's not from her.
I don't know. Right. I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah, right. Why are you looking at your phone? All right.
Am I done? My time
You
up?
can be. Technically you have 8 minutes.
What else should we talk about?
I don't know.
Other parts of the book.
What? Yeah, I was going to say, hold on. Let me close this. Let's go back to here. Let's go back to here. Let's go back.
Does anybody have any questions about
the book?
Yeah.
Any questions so far about anything that I've talked about? What am I looking for? Travis. I'm pulling up a copy so I can look at see if there's anything in the outline that makes me say, let's talk about this.
You should have the book in here.
Oh, you want to go get it?
I'm going to
go get it. That's a good idea. I got one of each, right? Do I have a paperback of it too?
So
the author's proof? Yeah. I'm doing a launch for my book and I don't have the book in my hand. What's up with me?
You see why I'm in his life?
Neil just commented, if I was a betting man, I'd say 5 and a P. Pamela, thank you very much for getting the book on Kindle. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
You know.
Right? Here's the book, guys. I should have started. I need to cut back to the live and be like, the book is out. I forgot. I've been gone for 5 days. I forgot I had these.
The soft cover. And they both are like this. I don't know. How would you describe it?
velvet paper.
Velvety.
Velvet paper.
Very cool.
So I have a question, babe.
What's that?
It says on one of these pages, like when you first open it, no, wait, where is it?
It says this is the most important part of the entire book.
Oh, it's like right before the table of contents. There's this thing that says, "Thank you to my muse."
Oh, you guys can't see it. There it is.
Thank you to my muse.
This is my favorite page of the whole book.
Who is that?
I don't know. But whoever it is, she must be amazing.
Well, why do you know it's a she?
Because
Is muse feminine? Can a man be a muse?
That's a very good question. I've always only ever heard it
with a woman,
to a feminine entity of some sort.
Can a muse be a man or a thing?
You really want to Google it now?
I do. I'm going to Google it.
Hey, look, chapter 1. Do you even lift, bro?
Do you even lift, bro? Do you even keto, bro? That's what we're talking. That's going to be our talk at Keto Palooza.
We have a topic.
Hey, meeting wellness.
Hey, Christy. Yes, we have a talk coming up. Do you even keto, bro? In Keto Palooza in.
Can a man be a muse?
6 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. Maybe 6.
6 weeks, middle of October, right?
Yes.
Yes, a man can be a muse.
Okay, then.
As many artists have been inspired by men throughout history. Shakespeare was the young man in Shakespeare's Science. Male. Neil Cassidy, Fanny Braun, Woody Allen, stepdaughter. I'm so confused.
She's not a man.
She's not a man. How?
AI messed up on this one. AI's not always right, guys. Double check. Oh, hey.
The male muse.
Look who's waiting.
Linda.
Linda's here.
Okay.
All right. I suppose I will say adieu.
Hi, Linda. Hold on. Don't do it yet.
No.
Hold on.
Hi, you guys.
Hey there.
Hello.
Saying, hey, here, put that in your.
Oh.
How?
Hello. Good to see you.
Guys?
Have you been on her show yet?
I have not.
We got to get her on your show.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yes, absolutely. Let's make that happen.
Yes, indeed. This guy is the connector. He'll make sure we
get it. Have you been on Casey? We got to get you on Casey's by yourself.
Not by myself. I was on with you.
We got to take the training wheels off.
They've been off, babe.
I was talking about you, though, Natalie, the other day. I was talking about you with Courtney.
Oh, Courtney.
On the channel. Yes. Yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah. Natalie's going to get you.
I gotta check
you're working
in
on
with
her booty.
Yep.
Work on the booty.
I got her doing 3 days a week.
That's awesome.
We're not playing games. We are on Operation Build the Peach.
Build that booty. Fantastic.
All right.
All right, babe.
Thanks, babe.
I'm going to go make a burger.
I want a burger.
You'll get one.
You going to take the chair?
Oh, yes.
Hey.
Have fun.
All right.
Hey, happy launch day, Bronson.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure.
How are you doing? So you're taking off on this whole podcast, YouTube thing.
Oh, it's going really well. You know,
it's because you're a good interviewer.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Do you want me to interview you right now?
Let's do it. You got questions? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
I'm not prepared for that. Part of being a good interviewer is being prepared.
Being prepared, right?
I'm not currently prepared for that. We'll have to do that again, though. You'll have to come back on.
Like I said before, I'll come on anytime you call. We could do a weekly thing if you want. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Yeah, it's going well. I've had some really great guests on, and I mean, you were the first one, and it's gone super well since then. So thank you for making that like an easy entry into sort of like what's going on now on the channel. So that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, things are going really great.
Good. All right. How are you doing? So besides the real quick, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and what is where did you come up with the name the Carnitarian anyways? I've been meaning to ask you that for like years.
That's funny. Okay. So the Carnitarian was like I just thought I made it up. And I think I I think I made it up, but you can look it up and it's, in other places. I'm not the only person who's made up this word. But basically there was back in 2015 when I went into zeroing in on health, when I found out about the carnivore diet 9 years ago.
Woo.
I said to everybody over there at zeroing in on health, I said, why are you all calling this a zero carb diet? Because, people would come onto that forum and they would say, is it okay if I have eggs? There's carbs in eggs. Is it okay if I have liver? There's carbs in liver. And inevitably everybody there would be like, yeah, it's fine. You can have those animal carbs. It's not technically zero carb, even though we call it zero carb. So there I was, like brand new newbie lady, like,
why are we doing this?
Yeah, like, hey, everybody, don't you think that maybe we should rename it? Like, maybe we can rename this diet, the eon ages old, diet that they've been calling zero carb for the previous, 15 years.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it should just be called like a carnitarian diet, sort of like vegetarian, but with meat and the Latin.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So, Latin root being carnitarian, carne, like carne asada. They were like, lady, no, we're not renaming it for you.
Meatitarian in English.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go along with zero carb. So zero carb carnivore. But then, Instagram needed a handle. And so I was like, well, I'm taking ownership of carnitarianism. So that's my gig. So that's where that name came from.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been mostly on Instagram.
Yeah.
For several years, right?
Yeah. I think it's been 5 years on Instagram now, or something. Maybe 6 years on Instagram, something like that. A while. Okay. And I've got a Facebook page. People can go to the Carnitarian on Facebook, and I would love if they would, because it's not really like a built out thing. It's just, some people are in there and they see my stuff. I sometimes post there, but mainly I'm on Instagram and then now on YouTube.
Yeah. And you're growing YouTube. Is that growth now? So you said that's doing well. Are you starting to see some growth there? I mean, it's only been a couple months, so
yeah, but it's going well. It's all sort of going to plan, and people are appreciating the information. I think that, like, what I tend to do when I do an interview is like try to go a little bit more into people's personal stories more than their health situation in general and their diet situation in general, because oftentimes it's, people have these backstories to why they ended up where they ended up, why they began this, better eating journey in the first place. So, if it's keto, like, how did that happen? If it's carnivore, how did that happen? What was the prior problems? And how did that affect you as a person and who you are today? And, everybody's backstory sort of gives this, it's like, it creates the person that they are. And then it sort of but it's sort of like, everybody's sort of reacts to their chosen path differently, and they can adapt differently based on their history. So it's like,
God, I love that you said
know what
that.
I mean? Yeah. It's like, not everybody can walk the same path because they don't have the same backstory. Yeah. And so oftentimes when people say, oh, it's just so easy, you just do this. It's like, yeah, that's you. And that works for your history, your, dieting past, your emotional past, even like just your cultural past, like how you grew up, what you're used to, where you find comfort. Like sometimes things that we think are so obvious to people just really aren't.
Yeah.
We all sort of grow up differently. So I've been trying to sort of understand people's backgrounds and, get a little bit more backstory on people when I do interviews. So I would love if people would come on by that channel, subscribe, please, because I'm trying to grow that channel. It's definitely not as big as your channel. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, no, but it's going to get there, and it wouldn't surprise me if it passes, because you have a message that a lot of people need to hear. And it's interesting. It's interesting with social media. There's some things that I'm finding. There's a balance between, and actually this isn't social media, this is business. I found this, I first recognized this when a guy that I knew owned a Kung Fu studio in Maryland. And he was a hardcore, dedicated Kung Fu practitioner, which is different than what a lot of the people coming to his school wanted. They wanted to learn how to fight. And he had a hard time staying in business because he was trying to teach Kung Fu.
Right.
That was the message. This is what Kung Fu is. If you want to learn Kung Fu, I am your teacher. If you just want to learn to fight, you can't work here. But no, you can't sell what it takes to actually be a Kung Fu practitioner. No, but that's a very small, minute percent of the population interested in that.
Yeah.
So in order for him to stay viable as a business, he had to let go of that and sell what more of the general population wanted in more of the self-defense fighting, that just a different type of product. And then the cool thing about that is that then allowed him to weed out who are the people that may be interested in the next level of actually becoming practitioners. So it wasn't until he was able to let go of just teaching practitioners and opened up to the masses that he was then able to find practitioners.
Interesting.
Right? So that's very much where a lot of people in social media are. I struggle with that a lot because I'm very much of my message and my focus is really based on it's not about weight loss. And that's the dichotomy of 90% of the people in the world want weight loss. So my stuff doesn't grow as much because a lot of what I'm talking about is more about re-education, not appealing to the masses. So it's interesting to see how those dynamics play in and out.
Yeah, it's hard. And, I do coaching also, and I find the same thing like you. And I find the same thing that there's this frustration with people who they say, well, how long is this going to take? Like, just tell me what to eat. How long is this going to take?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell you exactly what to eat. Like, I can give you, like, you've got to tell me, like, what are the things that appeal to you? What is your life like? How can I help make this sustainable for you? And it's like, I can't tell you. You have to think about it. Getting into your book, like, first of all, you have to think about how whatever protocol it is that you decide to follow is actually going to work for you. Is it going to work for you? Can you make it happen? Can you stay consistent with it? Right? And then you can move on. But it's not like, here's how you're going to lose weight. And there's this one protocol that's going to do it for you. And I'm going to share it with you. And here it is. Here's the secret.
It's a secret
here's
sauce.
The secret. Like, there's no transaction that we can make where I'm going to give you that secret. Like, there is no secret. Like, you're going to have to figure it out yourself. So this is something that I really appreciate about your book, is that it's sort of this like Socratic method where you ask the questions like of yourself. How can you do better for yourself? Like, what is it that you need to make whatever protocol you choose like work for you? And I try to help people do that in the same way that you try to help people do that. It's like, you have to learn how to think more than you have to learn a specific protocol.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's it right there. Learn how to, it's the whole adage of, if you give a man a fish, he'll be fed for a day. If you teach him how to fish, he'll be fed for life. Right. A lot of people are looking for someone to just give them a fish. Right. And we're trying to explain and help people understand how to go fishing for themselves. Right. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So you said something that kind of maybe went to dig a little bit deeper. You as a coach, we're going to switch the glasses we're looking at the book from, not from a person who's trying to make changes, but as a coach who's helping other people make changes. What are some of the things you got from the book that can help you when you're working with your clients?
Well, it's what I take from it is that first of all, the mindset portion is just huge. And that's mainly what people need help with. And so getting people into the right mindset is huge, because sometimes people will say things to me like, okay, I'll try. And, and in your book, it's like, there is no try. At least I got this from the book. Like, there is no try. There is do and there is do not. Like, who said this? Was it Yoda?
Yep.
Right. So that's something that I can give to clients. Like, I can say, listen, there is no try. Like, you called me and I'm here for you now. That's it. Like, we're a team and there is no try. I'm going to make this happen for you. You're going to make this happen for you.
Yeah.
And that's the way this is going to go down. And it's like, don't tell me you're going to try. Like, tell me you're going to do it. Tell me you're going to make it happen. You have to have a goal, and you have to like take the steps towards the goal, and don't give yourself that out. I mean, everybody sometimes slips, but don't anticipate it. When it happens, let it be. Okay, fine. Get it over with. But don't be like, well, is it okay if I slip up a little bit?
Well, see, because that's what you're telling yourself when you do that is that I'm planning on doing something that I know isn't going to help my health.
Exactly.
Well, if this is the thing, it's a way of avoiding the acknowledgement that you're making a decision to do something against your plan.
Exactly.
I'm setting myself up so that in case I make a decision that I've already decided I'm going to make.
Right. It's like, what are we really talking about here? Like, what are you really saying to me here? Are you saying that you don't want to follow this 100%? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And so, that's where people have to sort of do the mindset stuff. And like I said, not everybody's perfect. Perfection is not a thing. I'm not, perfect, but I know what my sustainable limits are, and I stay within those, and that's the consistency. Like, I set my limits, and I eat the way I do, I train the way I do, and I stay consistent.
How's that training going? You were kind of getting started with stuff when we talked last. What's going on? Tell us about that.
What do you mean, with ballroom stuff?
Well, I thought you were starting to get into some more exercising.
Oh, no.
No,
it's not sustainable for me. Haven't found it.
No. I could have swore you were starting to do some training. Okay. But you do ballroom dancing.
Do you want to hear me say the words? I tried.
Oh no.
No, you know what? It's funny. Like, for me, with the way that I can stay consistent is with ballroom. And so I did increase to 3 days a week.
Okay.
I'm sorry about the sun coming in here.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if that's, I did increase my training in that arena, and I take recovery really seriously. So I'm doing 3 days on, 4 days off.
Now,
and I'm not
the training for ballroom, not just doing ballroom dancing. Is there strength work as well? Like, you're doing a bunch of other things. It's not just we're dancing all day long.
I go in, and there's very little that is not ballroom. But when you're in the ballroom, you're doing like repetition of specific movements that would be like, I don't know. I mean, is it the kind of thing you would see at a gym? Like, there's a lot of squatting, there's a lot of turns, there's a lot of like isometric hold, stretch, hold, do it again, hold, quick, turn, do it again. And so it's almost like if you've ever seen like ballet bar work, where it's like repetition, and there's so much strength in that repetition. At the end of the training, my legs are like jello.
Yeah.
So
there's a volume thing. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So it's body weight, obviously, but it is really intense leg work. And then also holding frame is really intense arm work. Like, I just left a session actually about an hour ago, and I raced home to get here. But, and so I am like, I'm sore, like, and I'm pumped. Like, it's a workout. And so
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, right. It's a workout.
I would love to see, you got to record one of your sessions. I'd love to see what that looks like. You got to educate. No, this is because it's a whole, like, I've seen ballroom dancers. Natalie has a degree in dancing. We love watching that kind of stuff, but the behind the scenes training and what it takes to learn it. Like, I will
send you some accounts that teach ballroom technique. And when you follow those technique accounts, you'll see what I'm talking about, because everything is so precise, so slow. It's almost like yoga practice, where you go through this flow of movement and you hold, and and everything is like stretching, holding, and getting into a pose. And then, and then at the end of the lesson, you sort of run through it and make it happen as a dance.
Wow.
But the technique is intense.
Yeah. All right, let's switch to nutrition for a second, because I wanted to talk about, you talked about individuality. I talk about it in the book. It's very much focused on the individual, nothing, what is the number one rule in this whole discussion is your progress. If you're not making progress, then nothing you're doing matters. So when 6 years ago, I want to think about the process and see if you hit some check marks that I think everybody kind of goes through. What was your decision? What was the leading up to, and why did you decide to become the carnitarian? What was it that said, I'm dealing with these things, I want to start eating a lot of meat?
So when you say 6 years ago, I started the Instagram account, but doing the meat-based thing, that was like 9.5 years ago.
Oh,
so you're talking about,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. When you got
started.
You're
talking about that. So, well, I started because I wanted to lose a few pounds of weight that I had left from having my second child, my son. And I was like, I do really well on a ketogenic diet. And so I thought to myself, I'll go back on a ketogenic diet. Do you mind if I do something about this?
Do what you got to do.
I'll be right back. Everybody just talk amongst yourselves.
I can't see right now.
I can't. Hang on just 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. We got a couple, while she's doing that, we got a couple people. Hey, babe. Casey said he wants you on his show now. I just told her now, Casey. She's going to call you. No, I'm kidding. No, not right now, but anytime. He said, I'll have you on anytime.
Okay, we'll make good on that.
All right. All right. We got a couple of people that popped in here. Let's see. Christy's in here. Juliana. Let's see. Dr. Nelson. What's up, Dr. Nelson? How's it going? Thank you very much. Congratulations on your book. And my mom said, is this being recorded? Yes, we're on YouTube. So once this is over, it'll be on here as long as YouTube lets it stay on here. All right. Anybody else on here that I didn't catch earlier? All right. Hey, that's so much better. And now you can see too.
Oh my gosh. I know. I couldn't see anything. That was horrible. Okay. So back to your question. I thought a ketogenic diet would be great for me. I would just be able to lose some inflammation. I always felt good, And so I thought I'll go back on Atkins, and so I started. And I started looking at ketogenic, recipes. I ended up on Facebook, and then I found this Zeroing In on Health. So Zeroing In on Health was this carnivore group, and people had been carnivore for 10 or 15 years, and they'd been doing really well. Kelly Hogan was in there, and she was doing really well. She was able to get pregnant, and Charlene Anderson was in there. She had Lyme disease. She was doing really well, and I put that Lyme disease into remission. It seemed very healthy to me to become sort of more meat focused than I had been. And keto for me was always just like steak with spinach, steak with broccoli, steak with mushrooms.
You were kind of already doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was already there. Like I was never one of these, like vegetarian small eaters. I was always like, bring on the meat. Like the meal's not a meal without the meat. So it wasn't a far stretch for me. And so getting rid of the vegetables and the, almond flour cakes, whatever that I was making, that was these keto-fied desserts and whatever, it was like not a problem for me to get rid of that stuff. And so I started on it, and I was able to sustain it. And it was, I think, easier for me than it is for a lot of people, because I never was a sweets addict. Like, I never was a real like carb, lover.
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it. Like I said, I was very happy with broccoli and steak, so.
Yeah. So the change for you, and this goes right in line with what I was talking about with Casey earlier, the greater the change, the harder it is to sustain. And for you, it wasn't that much of a change. So, I mean, now we're here 9 years later and you're still pretty much doing it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing it. And I also just, to share with people too, this is part of the way that I like to help people is for them to really understand which level of carnivore is going to be sustainable for you is the one that you should go with. Some people think that, well, I should just go lion diet, right? Like that's going to give me the best results. And I say to them, well, like, I mean, have you ever only eaten just meat? Like, do you think you could sustain just lamb and beef and water and salt? Because when that gets old, where are you going to find yourself? And are you going to throw your hands in the air and say, I can't do this anymore and go back to Chipotle and pizza? Then that's not the sustainable version of carnivore that you need. So like, let's back up a little bit. And that's how I started, because at Zeroing In on Health, there weren't these rules. Like it wasn't a lion diet thing. You could add spices if you wanted to. Nobody cared. Like everyone was like, add spices if you can deal with them. Fine. Like have it, whatever. It's not a big deal. And people have gotten this idea now that, if you're adding spices, it's not really carnivore. And some people just don't want to give up on different flavors. Like some people can't sustain like just plain beef and salt constantly all the time.
I mean, I guess that means, I guess that means I got to stop my slap you mama. Oh my gosh. No, I can't give it up.
Right. You know, and I mean, for some people, and I have helped people that really do have some major gut issues and they need to get rid of everything. Like they need to get rid of everything but beef and water. And so I don't tell everybody, like, you don't have to do that. Some people really do need to do that, but not everybody needs to do that. And so, and
it's definitely not where everyone needs to start.
For sure.
Right. And I love the term, which I learned years ago, but never really had an opportunity to use it as much as I have lately since the book. And that is minimum effective dose. If I could write a book that was the next book, I would title Minimum Effective Dose, and every page of it, 300 pages, would just have the words minimum effective dose on it, because that's where we need to be. And everyone's trying to do the most, and the most is more than you need. Why are we doing that? It's like, I'm thirsty. I could use a glass of water. Okay, here's a pool.
Yeah. Fire hose.
Like, what are you doing, people? Like, come on.
Right. Like if some is good, more is better. Not always.
Not always.
Not always. Sometimes some is what you need. You don't need all. And
exactly.
And so I see this. I know you see this. People who say like, okay, I want to do everything. And I heard you talking just, I don't know, I guess it was about 40 minutes ago or something about, the red light, the cold plunge, the fasting, all of the different things that people can get into. I mean, they are sort of adjuncts, but they're not the basis of what we should be doing. They just don't fill the base. The base is like, for me, like the base is getting the consistency, like getting your ingredients right for nutrition, like understanding that it has to be real food. Like you got to cut out the processed food. But if your real food includes low carbohydrate vegetables, like I'm not going to get mad at you. You know what I mean? Like you're okay with fiber. Like, okay. Like some people are okay with fiber and as long as it's nutrient dense food, you've got that right. Like
that's the word.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
That's going back to the individuality and the fact that not everyone's on the same path. Like you said, we're all starting from different places. We're all climbing the mountain, but we got different journeys. And, it doesn't matter if I'm very big on telling people to eat real food, and you should get your food from the most nutrient dense whole food sources as possible. Somebody hears that who isn't thinking critically about it, and they're saying, well, you're telling me I need to give up my protein shakes. I was like, no, not necessarily. Because if your shake yesterday was a milkshake from McDonald's and today it's a protein shake from I don't care where, it's probably going to be better than the milkshake from McDonald's. I would rather you have that protein shake every day.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
it's about the individual making progress at whatever speed or interval or what choice that person can sustain.
Yeah, it's the little steps, and you have to meet the person where they are and say, what can you do? And then what happens is when you meet them where they are and you give them these options, they then sort of shift their baseline. And then you can sort of squeeze in a little extra discomfort and then shift their baseline a little bit more. And then all of a sudden you've got this person who looks at a supermarket and says, oh my God, this is all poison.
Yep.
All of a sudden you've transformed this person into a real thinker, and like a person who really sees food now for what it is, or what it isn't.
Or what is it? Yeah, exactly. If there's one section of the grocery store that says health food, what's the rest? Right.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Linda, thank you very much for being on. I appreciate it.
It's absolutely my
as
pleasure.
Always, it's fun chatting with you and catching up. Where can people find you again? And then I'll let you go.
I am at the Carnitarian on Instagram, and the YouTube channel is The Carnitarian Life, at the Carnitarian on Facebook. And you can always message me on Instagram, and there's information in my link tree about coaching there.
Awesome. Thanks, you very much for being on. I appreciate it.
Good luck. Good luck with the launch.
Take
care. Bye.
All right, everybody, we got a couple of minutes left. Thank you for being on and hanging out for the last couple hours. Andrea, you absolutely are the one that turned me on to Slap Your Mama, and I appreciate you for the rest of my life for it. If anybody doesn't know what Slap Your Mama is, it's probably the best overall general seasoning you can have for any food at all. I put it on my eggs. I put it in my stew. I put it on my meat. I pretty much put it on everything. Not all the time. Sometimes I take time off, but I do put it on a lot of stuff. All right. Body Confident, guys. As we know, it's out now. Please go get it. When you get it, the biggest piece, the biggest, most impactful thing that you can do after you get the book is go leave a review. Please leave a review. Let other people know how the book impacted you, what you got out of the book, and what they can get out of it too. We want to get the word out to as many people as possible that body confidence is about what you can do, not how you look. We want people to live for as long as possible, die as quickly as possible, and get the most out of their life experience. All right. Thank you for being on, guys. I appreciate it. Go out and change the world. See ya.